Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tracy. Hope you all are having a good Thursday evening. Today marks the beginning of my sort of color wheel project for June. And we have a prompt list. I'm just going to give a couple minutes for people to kind of pop in that might want to get started. Then we want to get started because we got lots to do. I've chosen the colors that I plan to use for the color wheel that I'm making, which is the first prompt. And I'm not making like a working color wheel like this. That's not what we're doing. We're just making basically a design. And so if you downloaded, and in my description box is the prompt list and directions. If you downloaded those, and you'll know that the first prompt is to create a representation of the 12 color. Hi, Lisa. Color wheel on your first page. So you can copy yours exactly, or you can do like I did. I distressed mine. I'm going to make another one today because this isn't fair. I did this one offline. Hopefully you've got your journal prepared, whatever it's going to be, notebook, what have you. I've got mine ready to go. And see, I have a lot of extra pages to make notes if I want to. Um, and then, so I'm going to be using primarily distress inks, but maybe not throughout the whole journal because I might use paint, or I might use spray, or I might use a different type of ink. I might use Versafine Clair. I might use watercolor. It just depends on the day and my mood. And that's the same for you because we're making journals just for you. So that said, oh my goodness, is that Stephanie? No, Suzanne. Suzanne, I haven't seen you in forever. Forever. Like ever, ever. Good to see you. Hi, okay, good. I'm glad you got the notifications. Yeah, I'm not pre-scheduling my videos at all anymore until I kind of know better what's going on with my life and health because I just never know. But I really do want to try and attend to these classes the best I can. So I took out my distress inks and oxides for tonight, and the colors I've chosen are Barn Door, Rusty Hinge, Carved Pumpkin, Wild Honey, Squeezed Lemonade, Twisted Citron, Mowed Lawn, Peacock Feathers, Faded Jeans, Blueprint Sketch, Villainous Potion. I don't have the miniatures of Villainous Potion or Seedless Preserves. So I took out all of those colors. It way too long. Yes, I sure am. Okay, Mediocre Arts and Crafts. I know your name, but it just isn't coming to me. Can you remind me, please? I hate not knowing somebody's name, and Lord knows because my YouTube name is Not Afraid of Color. A lot of times people don't say hi to me because it's just too long to type, and I get that. So, we're going to start by making our own representation of a color wheel. And I have my original color wheel here. This isn't one that I've created. There is one I've created on my Not Afraid of Color. Um, what's that thing called? Facebook group. And there's one in the Tim Holtz Addicts Facebook group of the distress inks. And then I think I put one in Elizabeth's group of the Simon Hurley inks. And I still have that one here too. So lots available, or get your own. Buy one. I got this one at Hobby Lobby, I think. Hey, Teresa. Bug. Okay, Bug. So, what we're going to start with is just kind of a practice, and we're going to do a rainbow, basically by using all these colors. And I've taken out these little makeup brushes. I buy them on Amazon, like 500 in a pack or something, and they're great for tiny spaces. So what I want to do here is I want to draw my circle first. And I'm using this little circly tool. it spins and it's fun. But use what you have. If you have the original one I did with a compass or a protractor, whatever, however you want to call these. This one is an antique. I love this thing. But I'm going to use this for today. And I made my page the size that I need to fit in my journal. So, because I'm just going to be gluing my pages in, and I just have my blank pages paper clipped right now to each color so that I can easily grab them and then deal with them. So, if you're ready, I'm going to start our color wheel. Now, another cute idea, and I've seen a lot of people do this, is they you just take magazine pages or maybe some of your old gel prints if you have them categorized by color, and just do a little collage in each pie of the colors you want. So you're not limited to just coloring it and drawing it with ink. You can do it any way you want. So I'm going to draw my circle. Okay. And that's the perfect size, and I may or may not cut that out. And then I'm going to make my lines. And I want to find the halfway point of that. And I should have done that in the first place. Let me see if I can get this back on here proper so I can get the middle. That's not even close. Where is my pencil going? Okay, right about here. I'll just draw a line right there so I get it straight. Hi, Peggy. And guess what? This doesn't have to be perfect. This is just fun. This is fun. I want you to have fun. So I'm just going to draw, and I'm just going to make a mess and knock everything over here too while I'm here just because I can, and I will. And then because we're using a 12 color wheel, I'm going to need 2 divisions between here. Am I going to measure that? No, I am not. I am going to use a clear ruler though so I can see where I'm drawing. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball, just like you're slicing a pie. If you have, you know, a stencil or something that does this, far out. I do not, or I might. Who knows? Mm. So you have 2 divisions, and you can see that those divisions are nowhere near the right size. So what? And go like so, and go like so, and do 2 more over here. I can go all the way across. Just make sure you cross that middle, and that's all that matters. Because it's your wheel. You can create one right now, or you can create one on your own. I'm just demonstrating, and so if you want to do it right now, go for it. If you want to do it later, you know, on your own time, you do have the prompt list. And, you know, I want people to do these prompts when they can do them, you know, not on my time. I'm just demonstrating. So, yeah, if it's a pie, I want the bigger piece too, because pie is my thing. And so, my thinking when I first thought about this was to go ahead and mask off the other areas so that you know, I don't get it all smeared in together, but I kind of want to do something here, and we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this line mostly, just this outer line, because I want my colors to go all the way out. I want a whole peacock. It won't be erased totally, but it'll be erased enough. Okay. Okay, there's a link in the description box directly to the file on my Google folder, if that helps. Okay, so My best bet is to use mint tape for this, and I don't have any 1-inch mint tape, so I'm going to go in with the 1/4 inch or the 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to mask off. I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to start with red. I'm just going to mask these off like so. You could make a stencil too if you happen to get these even, but I didn't. Of course not. And I'm going to start with my oxide. Just keep in mind, as you can see, when you're working with colors and you're working with distress oxides, when they're wet, they're not the same color as when they weren't wet. So they oxidize, right? And some of them will stay within the same color range or within the same value, but some of them will not. And one that I could point out here would be the peacock feathers. So you can see the value is very different here to here. And in fact, the actual tint is different. So what do I mean when I say tint? So a tint is where you will add a lighter color, like white, to your base color. So I'm using these as a base color. And if I want to tone and tint them, I would add a, or shade them, I would add a white to give it a tint, and that's where you're going to get your pastels. And I would add a gray to kind of give it a tone, and then I would add a black to give it a shade. And I'll show you an example of that here. So I'm going to start with the oxide here. Okay, I already lost the little, here it is. And this is just going to help me get this into this little small space right here. So I'm just going to kind of fill that in. And this will also keep me from going over onto the next color. And then I want to show you also, if you're going to use inks and oxides, the color difference, not necessarily the color difference, but the value difference. So a value is going to be the percentage of color versus no color between the oxide and the ink. So now I've got the barn door ink, and I'm just going to use the other side of my little thing, and you can see that it's darker. And it's going to behave different when it's water reactive. These don't work as well with the inks as they do the oxides. So I probably should come in with the brush right there, and I think I will. Let's see. Do I have a brush that I'm willing to get red? Yeah, I do. You can see that you've got a softer brush, it's going to soften out a little bit. So there's the kind of difference between the ink and the oxide. And I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me bring it in close. It's not super different, but now let's tint some of this. And I want to kind of put these away as I go, so I don't have such a big mess to clean up afterwards. I'm going to grab things that fall on the ground. I'm going to grab some picket fence here. Clean brush. I'm going to tint this. And because the picket fence is not super thick, and I shouldn't be doing that, but I am, you can see that I'm lightening that color out. You don't want to dip back in there. Let's dip to the side. So if you're using a picket fence or a white ink, you may need several coats. And you may want to, like for instance, maybe I'll do this instead. And then I can just dip my little brush right there and not have to worry about contaminating my white ink pad. Oh, well, I posted it in my Facebook group, but I thought I posted it also in the on my YouTube community channel tab, but I never could see it when I did that. So maybe it didn't post. Uh-oh, why are you broken? Did I lock you? No. Okay, I did lock it. Okay, so then another color that you can kind of, it's not necessarily going to darken it, but I grab, let me find it here. I didn't grab it out in the beginning, so Lost Shadow. And that's going to give us even a little bit more difference. This is super wet. So that's going to kind of mute the color down a little bit more, or mute it up, if you will. The thing about Lost Shadow is, to me, it's got a little bit of a bluish hue to it. So I feel like it's not as pure. And then if we want dark, we're going to come in with some black soot. And where's my black soot? I've got one more surface left on this. And I may have to go over that again with the red, just because it's a pretty strong black. So the more black, the darker. So we'll come back in with the barn door. And remember, I used ink for this. And just kind of blend that out. And you're going to get darker. So I went from, well, that's the pure color. I tinted it, toned it, pure color, shaded it. Let's just, since I'm going to get the most ink out of it if I go this way, there I've got a deep dark red. Hi, Nima. And then I want to blend all of these out. I'm going to grab one of my, I'm just going to kind of give this a little love right here, just to kind of blend all of these out. So that's kind of, I still need more white here, don't I? I think I do. Let's get a little bit more. And you might have to do, like I said, several coats when you're working with inks. Now, when you're working with paint, it's a different story. There we go. So I've got a gradient going on there. And you don't have to do this. This is just me demonstrating what you have to add or subtract. And I got it everywhere. Of course I did, but no biggie. No biggie. So now I'm going to do my red orange, which is going to be Rusty Hinge, is what I chose for that. And who knows if this is going to actually stick or not. So what I'm going to do, try not to get my fingers in everything, is I'm going to grab a magnet right here. And then another magnet. I need another magnet. There's one right there, just to kind of hold that down. Hey, Vicky. So I'm going to grab my Rusty Hinge. Just going to leave my white right there. And hopefully I'm got enough, see what I mean? That's not, doesn't want to stick because the ink is wet. I'm going to grab my Rusty Hinge. Let's start here. Try not to go too heavy with it, so when I put the white over it, it covers better. Because I do want the gradient. And then I think I'm gonna try putting black down first and then add the color and see if I have better luck with these inks. So it just depends on your medium. Practice, play with it. Don't let the man get you down. And then I've got the ink. And I need a re-inker for this one. It's still red-orange. There's just not a lot of ink. Okay, let me get my black here. And I'm going to put my black down. I'm just going to use a little bit of a lighter hand. I must have a brush here suitable for black. I'm going to make one. I'm just going to, I need a scrap piece of paper here. Paper, a little piece of paper towel would work. I'm going to add my black down first and then come in and see if that doesn't blend out better. Yeah, it definitely does. Let's get that. I'm going to have to go direct down because, oops, don't do that. I don't have enough ink in this doggone thing. Okay, so then I want to add my white. So I'm going to use just this that I have down here. Just going to tap down my white. It's going to take a little bit more than that, I think. Why don't you go over here? We're done with you. Where'd my white go? Here it is. I want to wipe that off that has the red, although it wouldn't really matter until you start moving from cool, warm to cool. Scoop some up, dab it down. Scoop some up, dab it down. And then we'll come in with a little bit of the Lost Shadow, clean side. I'll tap that off a little. And then I want to just kind of blend this all out. So I've got a gradient. And there we've got our red-orange. So moving on to orange. I love orange. Yeah, and I'm gonna need more magnets, I think. And then we'll play with this. Okay. I don't know how Peacock Feathers got all the way over there. I'm gonna come in with my carved pumpkin. And that's a really orange. Dark. That's the oxide. And we'll grab the ink. This one might be dry. The lid feels loose. Nope, it's fine. It's just more difficult to. Let's try brush here. I'm running out of space. I messed myself up there. Oops. Butthead. Speaking of buttheads, like snapping. And I've got to add my black first. Let's go add that after the fact. So, got a brush here. Tap that brush off. I'm just going to come in and try not to go so heavy with it. So that's our shade. We'll come in with the white. And I still have some white left here, so I'm going to grab it. I'm just dabbing that because that's the thickest way I can get the application. Mike's good. He had his procedure yesterday. Oh, that was Lost Shadow. Dang it, Bobby. Pay attention. I wasn't paying attention. I wish the white was that thick. It's not, though. But you could use Lost Shadow in place of it because you can see it still lightens it. Okay, white. Dab that on so it's nice and saturated with the white. And the more coats you do, of course, the lighter your color is going to get. And we'll grab a little bit of the Lost Shadow. I'm just going to touch it directly on here. And so it still lightens it up, but it does it more in a mid-tone fashion. And then I'll go ahead and just kind of try and blend these out. Of course, I'm working on watercolor paper, so it wasn't probably the best choice, but I want to get it wet when I'm done. And I'm getting fingerprints on my page because that's how I roll. Okay, done with carved pumpkin. We're going to come in next with wild honey, which is yellow orange. And let me turn this and make sure that it's where you guys can see what I'm doing. I mean, it's pretty repetitive what I'm doing here, so maybe you need to see, maybe you don't. I may have to break down and tear open another piece of tape, but I want to. Because that's wet, so no matter what, the tape's not going to want to stick to it. I'm going to come in with wild honey. Let me move the brushes I've already used so I don't mess them up. Oh, I wanted to start with the oxide on that. Dang it, Bobby, pay attention. See, I forget what I'm doing all the time. So if you forget what you're doing, it's perfectly fine. See how much nicer oxides spread out on watercolor versus inks? Okay, now we'll get the ink back out. Oh, a little black. Black, black, black. I'm not even going to put more ink on my brush. I'm just going to come in with the black and make a mess. Now that's just plain old gray, isn't it? It's just... Okay, and then we want to get some white in there. We still have white here. We need more. And come back here, you. Let's grab a little bit of the Lost Shadow. Dab off here. And you can see that Lost Shadow will pretty much do the same job, but it's thicker. Let's brush that out. So I've got my basic color wheel because I'm kind of stopping with the oxide and moving into the ink when I get out to these spaces. Okay, Now we're going with yellow. So I'm going to be a little more careful with the yellow. That's what she said. Get on there. I don't care that I'm getting ink fingerprints because it's not important. Hey, Gaz. Good to see you. We're going to come in with squeezed lemonade. Okay, where's the lid to the wild honey? Put that away. Come in with the squeezed lemonade, oxide. And I do want to be more careful here on these sides because that ink is still wet on there. It's not a huge deal. Would I want to add black to this? It's probably going to be funky if I do because of the medium that I'm using. Okay. I'm going to try and come in very super light with this black and then do my yellow over it. And I want to do ink. Where's the ink? Let's put that away. Here it is. It did make it quite a bit darker, or a little bit darker, maybe. Maybe the trick is it needs to be much wetter. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna grab the picket fence, and I'm going to grab a clean side of this, and I'm only going to go in once. I have other white inks. You know what? In fact, let me try a different white ink pad. See if I have better luck with it. That one's pretty dry. That one's nice and wet still. Much better. Okay, the problem is that I'm touching my tape that has color. It's bad. Try and be more careful. Yeah, that works out way better because it's nice and wet. A little bit more. And I think I'm going to just do a tiny bit of the lost shadow, which is also going to lighten it up, but it's more of a gray tone. And then lid. Where are you? Oh, okay, it's stuck to the other ink. And let's grab a brush. Just kind of blend this outward. Okay, it's time for me to grab new tape here. Okay, we're done with squeezed lemonade. Let's put that away. And then we're up to twisted citron. So I'm going to grab new tape. Okay, where's my tape? There it is. Still going to need to, because this is wet ink, I'm still going to need to magnet that down, but I want it to be a little bit longer. Where are you? Come here. Come here. Hey. Not tight enough. Go. So once I'm done with this, I think we'll go ahead and get started on the red page in the prompts. Okay, twisted citron. There we go. So these are all warm colors. The twisted citron is a cooler color, obviously. Now, if you're using regular paints, it may be different. This one is not spreading nicely. It's kind of low on ink, I can tell. Okay. Done with that. Put it away. Let's grab black. Okay, I still have black on my brush, but I'm just going to grab a little bit more. And I'm going to find a piece of scrap paper to dab that off on. Like so. This, again, this is a light color, so I only want to come in with a light amount of black. Learn as you go, friends. And then I'm going to go ahead and just direct to paper most of that. Where's my little, those are all used ones. I don't know what I did with the clean one. Here it is. What? You're moving on me. There we go. Right, now let's get our white in. Get our tint. Can you see that that's lighter? Hey, Jenny. I'm going to do a couple layers. Best bet if you're doing something like this too on a with a white ink or a white pigment is to let the first coat dry and then come in with a second coat. And I'm going to come in with my lost shadow. Which is, yeah, kind of does the same thing. And then I'm just going to wipe this brush off because it had oranges and reds on it. Actually, let me just grab one that is more in the cool tones because I really don't want to make mud right now. And I'm just going to kind of blend these out. Okay. So I've got my tints, I have my tones, I have my pure colors, and then I have my shades. Let's go this way. And next one is Mowed Lawn. Oops, I hope this is long enough. It is. Okay, good. Okay, you guys are kind of in my way here. Let's grab Mowed Lawn. I'm going quite a ways with this one because it's got a big chunk. Okay, and then let's get the black in. You just stay put. Bum, bum, bum. Where's my black brush? You. I can see I've got other colors of ink going on here. That's okay. Then I'm going to grab this and I'm just going to go, whoops, hold still, you. This one's very wet. I could have probably gotten away with using the little dabber thing. use this edge of the brush to kind of blend that out so it's not so harsh. Okay, well, we'll get our white in. Okay, we're done with those. Put them away. Here, I think. Come in with the snow flurries. If you wait for your ink to dry, this is much more effective. I don't have time for that. So we've got our tint. Let's go in for a tone. And then down at the bottom we have shade. Try not to move my thingy there. And then I'm just going to use this brush to kind of soften this out best I can. I'm going to need a new piece. Oh man, I totally got my tape messed up. That's okay because something's going to happen here. We're going to do some blending afterwards, I think, maybe. Okay. Where is my magnet? Right there. This is too wet. I don't want to use it again. I'm just going to set it aside and let it dry. And grab a new one. So when you make yours, have fun with it. Use whatever. Like I said, you could take and segment these out and tear little pieces of colors on a magazine and fit them in there. That might be kind of fun. Okay, next we're coming in with peacock feathers. Or do watercolors and blend them together if you want to. Only side by side and only a little though, because you do want that sort of delineated wheel going on. Isn't peacock feathers a lovely color? I love this color. So this would be your blue-green. Let's get the black in there. And for this, because this is starting to get darker again, I'm just going to go in a little bit heavier with the black. Let's actually grab more ink. Tap it off. And just come in a little heavier. And then blend down. Okay, done with the oxide. There. Let's come in with the ink. Do I have a... Yeah, I do. I have a big one. Good. I don't have big ones of all the colors. I do have the oxides in all the colors. Okay, and this is similar to peacock feathers, so that'll work. And the reason I didn't buy all the inks is I don't know. I don't know. I have pretty much all the ink colors and the spray stains though. Okay, peacock feathers, you can go back where you live. And let's grab the stay down white. Okay, and then grab a little bit of the Lost Shadow. Just sort of make it look nice and pretty. Hey, Carla. Yeah, I talked to Dawn the other day. She's got herself a beautiful, beautiful little garden area, sitting area thing going on. And just real busy with life, not on the web. Listen, last night I was seriously debating all of my deleting my social media. Um, not because I'm mad at anybody or anything, but because and I get where Dawn's coming from. I spend a lot of time doom scrolling. And the problem with that is that it's not good for your mental health. Okay, next up, faded jeans. Where's my little Healy Bob? Here it is. So yeah, Dawn's around and she's fine. And she'll love to know that somebody asked after her. Now I could have used Chip Sapphire for this too. It would have worked just fine. I just chose faded jeans. So there's that. And because again, these are darker colors, I can be a little bit more liberal with the black. I can find the black brush. Here it is. Let's see here. Let's grab a little bit more black. Just working between these little guys is kind of a pain. Okay. And then, do I have this color? No, I have Chip Sapphire. Okay. This one is almost empty, as you can see. Let's grab a brush and see if I can blend that out a bit. Yes, I can. Can I do it? Yes, I can. I'm Bob the Builder. Hold still there. All right. White. Faded jeans away. Uh-oh, not putting things away where they go. Feathers. You go over here. Grab the white. Oops. Yeah, I got some. Listen. Stop it. Behave yourself. I'll need you to stick to there. Use the other side of my brush because okay, faded jeans. Let's get a little bit of lost shadow. So we can get our tone. Because this is darker color, I can go a little bit more liberal with it. And then I'm just going to brush these out. Almost done with this. I sure will, Carla. Sometimes she watches the replay and stuff. And sometimes she might be watching live. I don't know. You can learn a lot about a person on the internet, but you don't know who's watching your videos. So just keep that in mind, you know. Okay, since that's wet ink, I'm going to go ahead and tape that down. Okay, next up, blueprint sketch. So that's your blue violet. And that's the closest I can come. If you look at it, it does look like a blue violet. It's a little bit richer in the blue side, but it's the closest I could get. The faded jeans could also be construed as a blue violet. But when you get this down, it looks more blue violet. Let's get the black down. You can go home. And since these colors are quite dark, I'm going to go in quite dark with my black. Okay, and then come in with the ink. Let's use this same brush. Let me just kind of clean it off. All right, rag, where are you? There you are. I might have to go straight to, yep, I'm gonna have to go straight to paper. This is another one that had more love than others. Okay. Now let's get the white. And you can, especially once you add white to this, you can especially see the more violet tone come out on it. Okay, and then a little bit of this and a little bit of that. A little bit of lost shadow. And we'll give it all a little spread. Move on. Two more colors. I sure didn't give a lot of room for villainous potion here. That's okay. Okay, magnet, magnet. I almost need a third magnet. I think that'll be okay. I think so. Okay, villainous potion. And I have both the ink and the oxide in this color. So we'll start with the oxide. Okay, little brush. I must have just tossed it somewhere. Let's move all these. I may have to use this brush since I don't see it anywhere. No biggie. Because so put in the chat if you use these types of inks, what's your favorite color? Your home where you belong. Let's grab, I'm going to go ahead and come into the black soot right here and actually put it rather heavy here on this darker color. Okay, the problem is I'm going to need another one of these because for my white. Okay, let's grab a purple brush here. Better luck with it. I need to re-ink this one. I know I have the re-inker to this because when the last probably 5 colors came out, I bought the whole bundle. Put you away in your home. And let's get our white. And yeah, I'm going to need to get a new one of those out because I really, oh, here's one that hasn't been used. Okay. I really don't want to get that heavy dark color in there. Wiped off. Dip some more. Again. Come in with the lost shadow. Brush that all out. And then finally, we've got our seedless preserves, which is your violet red or red violet. More lipstick. Blueprint. Blueprint is your favorite, Carla. Um, Peacock feathers for bug. I have trouble with I love peacock feathers and all of the blues, and seedless preserves though is my favorite. And I'm not really a purple person, but for whatever reason, seedless preserves just fills my heart with joy. Okay, this one's gonna give me fits right here. Okay, you stay down. Another magnet right here. Okay. The oxide first. The two colors together are absolutely phenomenal. That's ink. Pay attention. What we're going to see a big difference is when I put water on this, how different the ink and the oxide react, even though in some cases I'm kind of blending them together. Let's grab the black brush, and I think this is it. I'm going to clean it off a bit because now I've got purple on it. And I'm going lighter on that this time because the seedless preserves is a little bit of a lighter color. Bump, 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 bump. And let's go ahead and wipe you down a little. So one of the purposes for this is just to kind of get comfortable with colors and make decisions on how you want to use your colors in your journal. This is totally the wrong spot for that, but it's just going to have to do. Let's grab the white. Tap that off. Grab a little bit more. There's only really ink left on the edges of this pad. But that was, and I know that Maker Forte went gone and then sort of came back, but the Snow Flurries pigment ink pad was my favorite white. Do a little wash shadow. Push those out so it blends nicely. And there we go. All right. So now it's water time, and that's why I wanted to use watercolor paper. You could also use mixed media paper. Why not? Right. Get everything kind of out of the way here. And I'm going to add water the way I like to add water, which is with water on here and then a fan brush. Versus trying to spray it on because I end up getting too much. You know, I don't like big chunks of water. I don't like chunks. You can still get her inks and refills. Good. Oh, that was nice of you, Pam. I always tell her when people ask about her. She's so beloved. Okay, so I'm going to go in first and I'm just going to add the water and let it do its thing. I'm not going to try and lift it. And I realize I have a white line there, but I have a plan, so don't worry about that. And then I'll go ahead and give that a dry, and then we'll do a second layer with lifting. Let's see, I think I want this one. It's faster. Okay. Now I'll do water again, and this time let me grab paper towel. This time we're going to lift. Make sure I've got it on every color. Give it just a few seconds. I hope you're not trying to keep up in real time. Well, maybe you are, and maybe you're comfortable with that. Cool, cool beans. So now I'm just going to lift this, lay my paper towel down, and just lift. And so you get a little bit different effect when you lift versus when you don't lift. Not a huge difference. Let me just wipe this off because it's distracting. So what I want to do now is just break everything. I want to come in with an in-between color on each one of these. So I'm going to start here, and my in-between, I think I'm going to do, I still need to stay, I think I'm going to do rustic bundled sake, mowed lawn. No, I did mowed lawn. Shabby shutters, maybe. Yeah. And I need smaller brushes for this. Grab the biggest green of my small ones. Just wipe it down a little. And I'm just going to come in and break this because I can. I wish that I didn't have that sharp line in there, but I do, and that's that. But notice I am trying to put this in fairly heavy. I'm just kind of blending it out. Oh, you just noticed you're way behind. I know, I do sometimes multitask too. And then between those two, I'm going to go ahead and do, I think I'll do old paper. Yep, that works out perfect. So I'm still staying within my color wheel, but I'm just adding a new color-ish. Now this old paper is rather dingy, and that's the whole point of it. That's why these are called box distress. Okay, so between those two, I'm gonna do a little fossilized amber. Just for the heck of it. I have sharp line here, and there's nothing I can do about those sharp lines necessarily. Okay, between those two, I'm going to go in with, let's do spice marmalade. Why am I grabbing the same brush? I'm dirt alert. No wonder my colors are getting funky, funkydelic. Probably should have done spice marmalade there, but that's okay. I'm going to do fired brick there. And I probably should have done fire brick here, but I'm going to do aged mahogany there, so there's that. Need that to soften out. Okay, let's grab aged mahogany, and I find it. That's pumice stone. It's a custom color, so its cover is white. Um, no. Well, I have lost my aged mahogany. That can't be good. There it is. Okay. And then between these two guys, let's do Dusty Concord. We'll do Wilted Violet. Hey, Delise. Good. I'm glad you're here. Oh, yeah, this was a good choice. I like it. Some of the choices I made, I'm not loving. And that's why you do these things, so that you learn what you do and don't love, what does and doesn't go. So there are people who are experts at color. There are people who just kind of know, and there are people that really, really struggle with it. You can be any one of those people and still make beautiful art. Okay, between these two, I'm going to do Dusty Concord. My main goal was that I messed up and got that white line. So I still wanted to fix this, and I just mixed those all together and made mud. Okay, there's Dusty Concord. Just kind of blend that out. And then finally, I've got a couple more. Um, let's do prize ribbon. Wait, yeah, let's do prize ribbon there. I can find it. Oops, that prize ribbon. Try not to get them mixed up with the yellows. Okay. Do chip sapphire there? I think maybe, maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. Do I want darker or lighter? Let's do broken china. Just for fun. It'd probably go better here. Yeah. Okay, let's don't do broken china. I still need to stay in the blue range. Let's do tumbler glass. I'm really gonna have to blend that out because it's on there thick. It's thick. Look. So just don't forget, you don't have to make yours like mine. Make yours any way you want to make it. Okay, we're gonna do broken china here. So kind of my sort of delineated rainbow becomes a little bit more like a spectrum than an actual, you know, rays. And then lastly, I'm going to do another one of my favorites, friends. Is, let me find it. Pine needles. So in the handout, there's a link to do further reading because we're doing more practicing than anything here and just building confidence. Okay, so now I'm a little more spectrumized. I'm going to need more water droplets. Just to kind of make everything cohesive. I hope everybody's having a good summer. It's finally stopped raining. I think yesterday was our first full-on sunny day. And of course, it's not quite summer yet, but I mean, as a kid growing up, about June 6th is when school let out in California. 91. Yeah, that is hot. Okay, where? Oh shit, I can't have that. Okay, that's fine. I'm looking for my heat tool, my regular heat tool. Let's go ahead and give that some heat. Okay, so I have my color wheel. Let's do some decorating and then we'll be done with that. I want to remember that I have set in here free colors are neutrals, blacks, and whites. So I think I want a book page. Da, 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 da. I'm looking for a handy one because I didn't take anything like that out. Okay. Words, book pages, guest tags, can't find my book pages, friends. Guess that means I'm gonna have to get out a book. Oh, that's crazy. Wait a minute. Let me just look again. Words. What was its paper? Pocket. Guest tags. Book pages. There they are. Out of work. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and paste that onto a heavier piece of paper. Why is that ink on the floor? That's a rhetorical question. You wouldn't know. Let's grab a piece of, I think I have a watercolor scrap over here. I do. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to punch. Because I like to punch. Oh, yay! I'm so excited. Three p.m. would be acceptable for what? I'm lost. Dang it, Bobby. I need to go back, don't I? Okay. Now I want to find my 2.5-inch punch. There it is. Yeah, so you can see now why I wasn't really worried about the middle. And I'm going to want to think about how I want to put this down. I'm going to just use glue, but I want to pop it up just a tiny bit. So let me just grab this watercolor paper. Just glue a couple pieces down so that I've got a little bit of height, not too much. Because I'm going to want to tuck stuff up underneath that. So when you do something like this and you're looking at that going, ew, I can't stand it. No, thank you. Don't think about it like that because you're not done yet. Thanks, Vicky. Blue here. I'm going to add my little good page circle. Because mine is basically an art journal. You can do yours however you want. You can do it a journal. I'll probably still put pockets in it because I just am a pocket freak. I love pockets. Okay. Now, what do I have here? I want to embellish this a bit. This is just I think I probably painted this stuff because it's stiff as all get out, which is good. Let's grab some scissors. Dang it, Bobby, don't everything drop. And what you're going to see me doing here is thinking out loud about how I want to dress my circle. I may decide I don't like something, don't want that. Oops, paste isn't sticking very good. May have to add a little. Come on, you little stink butt. Get up under there. Get up off of that thing. There we go. I need to add a little glue under here. Okay. Now, well, hello, Kitty. I wasn't talking to you. You can get up there if you want to. Got feathers here, and I want in particular, these black and white things. Want little ones, not big ones. Little ones. May have to trim one down. Oh, there's a little one. Oops. Don't bring your friends with you. They weren't invited. Okay, feathers. What else? Got this fabric right here. Now this is where I just start looking at my scraps, my junk laying around, and make decisions about my junk. Now this has double-sided tape on it. I don't necessarily want that because I can't audition it like that because it's just going to stick to my paper. Okay, great. I got you. I understand. Well, you know, I mean, I don't think I've had dinner. No, I didn't because it's 5 o'clock when I start here, and I don't typically like to eat that early. One, two, three, four. No, that's gonna go there. That's gonna go there. Okay, something else. Trying to stick in the black and white range. Okay, I know. Where were these? Oh yeah. I have a whole bin dedicated to black and white. So I got like a little sort of, I don't know, mandala. Yeah, okay. I'm happy with that. Let's glue them down and get this finished off. And I guess I won't have time to do the red one. We'll have to do red tomorrow. So tomorrow morning is red, friends. And if you don't love red, it's okay. You don't have to. You're going to do it anyway. I'm not a big green fan, but it doesn't mean I don't use green. It doesn't mean I don't like green. That's just not my favorite. And the greens I've used on here are kind of more what I would choose than some other types of like deep forest greens and stuff. Not a fan unless they're in the forest. And then I'm a huge fan. Start looking at all your stuff laying around because you're going to want to decorate these pages. Okay, let's grab my Posca. I know I have a black Posca. I think I do. Well, that's silver. Yeah, I go through this every stinking time. I could never find my black Posca. Where are you, mister? Here's one, brand new one. I know I have an open one. That's a Sharpie. That's what I wanted, my patty. It's okay if I don't love yellow. I actually do love yellow. And I'm just going to kind of line this outside. And then I'm going to add a second line and sort of just kind of twist and turn it around the first line. Oops, right off the page there, didn't you? And then I'm going to do a line around this. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not perfect because I can't do perfect. I'm going to shake this up. Grab a piece of scrap paper. Prime it. Oop, that's way primed. I'm going to tap some black splatters here and there. Here, there, and everywhere, evidently. And do some white splatters. And find, okay, I'm going to put this back where it belongs so I can find it later. Prime it. Come on. This one's almost empty, I think. Go. Get me some white splatters going on. Okay, now move that so I don't get this on my book. Move these things. Grab my book. This will be first page in my book. This page will be red. Try not to touch the splatters, T, if you can help it. Big dummy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add the glue here instead of trying to flip this over because I don't want my splatters to drip because they're still wet. My glue isn't coming out as thick as I want it to because there's a string stuck to it. Just kind of try and get that centered on there best I can. Push down where I can. And maybe I want a word in here. I think I do. I think I want something encouraging. Let's see. Yep, I spotted the one I wanted immediately. There we go. So, as per the prompt, I created a representation of the 12 colors on the color wheel and glued it to the book. And we'll start tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Start on red. And the red prompt says that we need to do it monochromatic. So we're going to create a background and focal image all based on the primary color of red. So just don't forget, don't panic if you don't love red, because your blacks, your whites, and your neutrals are allowed. So your browns and tans. It's not okay if I don't love yellow. I can't get this in the hole. All right, so if you have questions or anything like that, leave them in the comment section below. If you're watching the replay, same thing. Do try to be constructive. And if you do this and you follow along and you're in my Facebook group, Not Afraid of Color, I would love to see what you did with this. So hopefully that'll happen, and mine won't be the only one. And I probably won't take a picture of it today anyway because I'm starving. And there's a turkey sandwich calling my name. Take care, everybody. Thanks again. Bye.